Hello there, friendly neighbors, and welcome back to our channel. Am I getting double kisses? Oh my goodness.
No, Mother. We are trying to remove the lipstick from your teeth.
I love you both. You are such good girls. Taking off my glasses for this video because I keep getting like glare from outside of my window and then it bothers me. I don't know if it bothers you guys, but I feel like I look weird without glasses on. Anyway, I should start the video. There are a couple places in the world that I consider probably as close to heaven as humanity has been on Earth. Obviously, one of them is the dollar store, but there is another place that is almost, not quite, but almost, at the same level of serotonin-inducing beauty as the dollar store. And that place, my friends, is Ikea. Ikea is one of my favorite places in the entire world to go. Even if I have nothing to buy, I just like walking through the showroom and imagining that my home is as beautiful as the showroom homes that they have there. It's not, probably because of all the weeb shit in the background, but you know, maybe one day I'll get to that point. I like the vibes in there. I like how it smells in there. I like how friendly the people who work there are. And I love putting together furniture. So when I actually go in there and I buy something, oh my, But Ikea is more than just that. Ikea is also a great place for buying weird stuff for your ferrets that you might not have thought of before. I went into Ikea the other day with an open mind and pretty much no idea what I was going to find or how many things I was going to find. I just walked around and let my really obscure problem-solving brain see things and be like, oh, that'll work for that. I made a couple purchases. And along with that, I bought this beautiful bag. I don't know if it's actually like a Pride Month bag or if it just is a cute rainbow bag. It's probably a Pride Month bag. But anyway, I bought it because it was $3 and it's a very hefty and nice tote. This isn't part of my 5 things I'm going to be talking about, I just really like this tote. Before we get started with the video, I do want to put a little bit of a disclaimer. There are some things I'm going to be talking about in this video that are probably not appropriate for all ferrets. Ferrets are all really different and they will react to things differently. Some ferrets are totally okay with certain products that other ferrets are not going to be all right with and they will pose a safety risk. I do have a couple safety warnings in some of the items that I'm going to be talking about today, mostly about how these things are supposed to be used only under supervision. So please pay attention to those warnings because the last thing I want is for someone to use some of these products and then end up hurting their ferrets. That is the opposite of what this channel is for. Completely unrelated to any of that, my hood is an alpaca. And that makes me happy. Let's do the video now. So the very first thing that you can get your ferrets at Ikea that you might not have thought about is toys. In the kids section of Ikea, they have a pretty extensive selection of stuffed animals, and a lot of them are super adorable. I almost bought a couple of them for myself. Obviously, not all of the stuffed animals in this section are going to be ferret safe. In accordance to the rules that I put out in my video on top 10 ferret toys, you want to make sure that you're finding any plush toys that don't have a lot of things hanging off of them that might be chewing risks. Definitely no beans in them if they're Beanie Babies, and try and avoid any sort of like plastic bits on them that your ferrets might be chewing. I generally try and stay away from even rope bits, which some of the toys do have on them. This is a toy that I bought for my ferrets at Ikea almost 3 years ago, and it is one of Nova's favorite toys. It's like a weird, I don't know what it is. I think it's a fox. But Nova has always really loved stashing this toy and hiding it around. As you can see, there are no signs of chewing on this toy, and that's just because my ferrets generally don't chew their toys, which might not be the case with everyone's ferrets, so definitely make sure that you are checking your ferrets' toys regularly for signs of chewing, and if they have been chewed on, that goes in the garbage. This is the one that I bought my ferrets the last time I was at Ikea when I was filming this video. It's a really cute little panda, and I love it. Now, immediately looking at this toy, I do see a couple of safety risks, which once again, won't apply to my ferrets because they don't chew toys, but might apply to someone else's. These ears right here definitely look like they might get chewed, and even the limbs look like they might be a target for chewing. As well as that, make sure that you are cutting tags off of any stuffed toys that you're giving your ferrets. Though my ferrets don't chew stuffed toys, Ilara will eat tags. I don't know why, I think it's just something about the texture. She loves to chew on them, so these get a cut off. before you give them to your ferrets. The second thing that you can buy your ferrets at Ikea is really cute food dishes. In their kitchen section, Ikea has so many little plates and tea saucers and stuff that just work amazingly as ferret dishes. Most of these are glass or ceramic, which is one of the safer materials to be giving your ferrets. It really is best to avoid plastic dishes, whether you're a raw feeder or a kibble feeder, and that's just because plastic really holds bacteria. It's super easy for it to scratch and get grooves in it, and that's just where bacteria grows. What I really like about the Ikea dishes is that a lot of them have really low edges. This might not be the case for all ferrets, but with my ferrets, they much prefer a dish with lower edges. Nova will straight out refuse to eat if she has to eat out of a dish that has an edge that's higher than about an inch. When I went to Ikea this time, I didn't buy any dishes for my ferrets because they have enough and I didn't need to spend more money. But next time I'm looking for dishes, I'm definitely gonna go check them out because their prices are pretty good compared to pet store. I need to close that window. That's gonna be really loud background noise. An amazing find that I found at Ikea, which I definitely am going to be using in the future, is these little storage bins. Now you're gonna look at this and say, I don't need more storage bins, Kenya. What are you talking about? But when I saw this, I didn't think storage bin. I thought litter box. This is the perfect size for a ferret litter box, and there are two major reasons why I love it. The first reason being, it's only $3. I don't know about where you guys live, but where I live, a litter box this size at a pet store, it can be anywhere between $7 and $15. So the $3 price tag on this is definitely a plus. The second thing I really love about this litter box is the colors. These come in a pretty wide variety of colors. Unfortunately, when I was there, they only had white, green, and yellow, but I did see pink and blue ones on their website, which were so cute, and I wanted the pink ones so badly. When it comes to sizing litter boxes, this size works perfectly for my ferrets, but if you have bigger ferrets, it might not work for them. Basically, you just want to make sure that your ferret can get their entire body into the litter box so that they can be comfortable while they're doing their business. Another important thing with this litter box, depending on your ferret, you might need to cut down the edge of the litter box. Since Nova is getting old, I prefer to cut down the edges of my litter boxes so that she can easily walk in and out of them. When I do it, I just use a Dremel to cut the initial hole, and then I melt it with a lighter in order to make sure that there aren't any sharp edges. I'm sure there are other ways to do it. If you get a saw or a hot knife, I just own a Dremel and that's the easiest way for me. Now this next thing that I found is something that I saw and I was instantly just crazy excited for. I've never seen someone talk about using these for ferrets before, and I think that they are an absolutely amazing find and easily my favorite thing on this list. And that magical product is this toy. So this is from the kids section. It's a little like baking sort of toy, but when I saw it, I thought of something completely different. This toy makes for an amazing enrichment activity. So as you can see, there's 4 little buns and they are in a fabric cake bun tray. What is this called? Muffin tray. Cupcake tray? What's it called? Muffin tin. It comes with this little thing, which I'm just for kids to play pretend. You don't need this. In fact, I'm just gonna throw it away literally right now. I missed, but I'll throw it away later. The important thing is these little rolls. Each of these rolls has a little piece of Velcro on it, and it pulls almost completely apart, and they all come completely out of the tray. It's such a simple design, but what you can do is you can put treats inside of the rolls and under where the rolls go in the muffin tin, and let your ferrets try and figure out where the treats are and forage for them. It's basically the same sort of logic as a snuffle mat or any other enrichment activity like that, and it's also significantly cheaper than a lot of the snuffle mats or enrichment toys that I see online. This toy, above everything else in the video that I'm talking about today, definitely deserves a safety warning. Absolutely do not leave your ferrets with this unsupervised. This is super easy for ferrets to sit there and chew, and the Velcro on it is another major place that ferrets might chew. Lyra really loves chewing Velcro. I think it just comes down to the texture of it. So you really want to make sure that this is a toy you're using for supervised playtime only. I would love to see a bunch of people trying this out with their ferrets because, again, I just think that this is such a killer find. They also have a couple other versions of this toy. There are a couple fruit baskets, I think, and a pizza. The pizza definitely isn't gonna work for ferrets because it's just a whole bunch of loose pieces of fabric, but I can see the fruit baskets sort of working. The reason that I chose to get this one instead is because you can put the treats inside of the roll, whereas with the fruit baskets, it's mostly just plush toys shoved into a basket. But again, you could just put treats inside of that, and it would sort of have the same idea. And the last thing that I found on my magical trip to Ikea that I thought would work great for ferrets is these desk pillows. I saw these and my initial thought was, oh hey, that could be a ferret bed. And then my brain started thinking a little bit more. Though this could easily be a ferret bed, it actually serves as another very important purpose. This pillow makes for amazing poop prevention. Now, when I say poop prevention, I mean the things you put in the corner of your room to stop your ferrets from pooping in them. And the reason that these make such great poop prevention is they have ties. So maybe they're not going to work super great for a random corner of your room that has nothing near it, but I have this problem where my ferrets really love to poop under these two bedside tables that I have in my bedroom. I've tried to put blankets and beds and stuff under them, but Lyra especially just kind of pushes them out of the way and then does her business regardless. Because of the strings on this, that doesn't become an issue. I can tie it to the legs of the table and then they're not going to be able to pull it or push it away. Same logic can apply to inside of a cage. If you have a ferret that likes to poop in a particular corner of the cage and they're constantly pushing away any beds or blankets that you put there, just tie this to the bar of the cage and they're not going to be able to do that. Another thing I really like about these pillows is just that they are made out of a pretty versatile and hard fabric. That's because they are meant to be on chairs where your butt goes, so they need to be a little bit more durable, but they're still pretty soft, and I think that they are going to be really comfortable as a bed if I put some blankets on top of them. Obvious safety warnings for this: if you have a ferret that is going to chew a lot on fabric, definitely make sure that you're checking this pretty regularly for chew marks, and if it has been chewed, that you throw it away. And the same goes for the string on top of them. I know there are lots of ferrets out there that like to chew loose pieces of fabric, so if you have a ferret like that, this is probably not going to be safe since this is going to be an easy target. This is an old pillow that I also got from Ikea quite a few years ago, hence all the stains on it. Let's look at this side. This side's a little prettier. And this one actually has Velcro tabs instead of the strings. Like I said earlier, a lot of ferrets really like to chew Velcro because of the texture of it, so I would honestly just avoid getting Velcro ones altogether. And then just like with the toys that I mentioned, you're gonna wanna make sure you're cutting off the tags for them before you're giving them to your ferrets. And two great things about these pillows: first being, they are relatively cheap, quite a bit cheaper than actual beds that you can buy for ferrets at pet stores. And they come in so many different varieties and so many different colors. Every time I go to Ikea, there are different versions of these. So if you're looking for a particular aesthetic or a particular cage theme, I can almost guarantee you're gonna be able to find a pillow that matches. I got the blue ones because I love pastel colors, as you can tell by all of the pastel colors in my room constantly. And so I wanted to stick with that theme. They didn't have pink ones, which made me sad because I love the color pink. So I stuck with blue instead. Those are my 5 things that you can buy for your ferrets at Ikea that you might not have thought of before. 4 other ones that didn't make the video that I'm gonna very quickly just talk about. Obviously, you've got that little doll bed that I know a lot of people in the small pet community and even the dog and cat community talk about. I just didn't want to put that in this video because I think that that one's a little bit obvious since everyone knows about it. I do have one of those and I am planning to do a revamp of it in a video coming up eventually. I just haven't had the motivation to do that video, so I'll do it eventually. Also, Ikea sells fabric. Granted, the only fabric they have, I believe, is cotton, so it's probably not something you're going to want to use to make liners or hammocks, but you can definitely still use it to make things like a slightly more heavy-duty cage cover. I have this idea to make curtains under my double ferret nation along that bar that stretches across it, so I can make a little cozy space for my ferrets underneath it. The fabric there is all super cheap. In Canadian dollars, it's like $3 a meter, which if you're someone who buys fabric, that cheap. And of course, Ikea also has a lot of awesome storage containers and just jars and stuff like that. These are really great for treats, or if you're a raw feeder like me, I de-thaw my grinds in glass containers that I have bought from Ikea. They're the perfect size for the patties that I buy, so that just makes de-thawing them in the fridge really convenient. And of course, whenever you go to Ikea, you should never forget to go through the as-is section. This is where they have all their discounted and possibly damaged goods. You can find some amazing finds in here. They generally have a giant bin of fabric, which you can do so many creative things with. And who knows, they might even have some furniture that you think might work for your ferrets, or just some other random knickknacks that I've already talked about in this video that are damaged and therefore in the as-is section. One thing I really like about the as-is section is that they have a whole wall of just random pieces of wood, which are super great when it comes to ferret proofing. If you don't want to go buy wood for full price, just go to the Ikea as-is section and you find some pretty decent wood, and a lot of the times it's in cute colors, at least cute colors in my opinion. I like white wood. Well, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I can't find a ferret to be in my outro for you because it's the middle of the afternoon and they're all sleeping. So instead I'll share with you who won best and worst ferret of the week this week, because I'm sure you guys are all very curious after last week's video. So this week's best ferret of the week goes to Nova, and that's because she's responding super well to her adrenal treatment. In the last 2 months, pretty much all of her hair has started to grow back and I am just ecstatic. She looks like a completely different ferret. It's to the point that sometimes I see her across the room and I think that she's Ilara, which is kind of a big deal for me considering how gross and sickly she looked this time last year. It's just really exciting to see her getting back a little bit of her youthful spirit and not looking like the 6-year-old ferret that she actually is. Speaking of Ilara, this week's worst ferret of the week goes to Ilara. She's been the worst ferret this week because she's gotten into this very annoying habit of taking the pee pad that I have by my front door and just putting it somewhere random in my room. I'll go upstairs for dinner and I come back down and the pee pad is under my computer desk. Why? And it's not even just when it's clean. Like, it used to be she only did it when there wasn't pee on it. Now there'll be like 3 poops on it and she's dragging it across the room. It's disgusting. And I would like for her to stop. Anyway, do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe, because by doing all of those things, you too can become a citizen of the friendly neighborhood, which, in my personal and professional opinion, is the very best place that you can be. I will see you guys next week when I do something, I'm not quite sure what yet, because I don't plan that far ahead. Have a great rest of your week, everybody.